2,500 years ago. I wasn't there. An earthquake that completely changed the flow of one of the largest rivers and most famous on the planet, Ganges River. The rivers don't stay in one place. It's normal. So if you live by a river, it can also disappear without a trace or flooding an entire city. One day, in the case of the river, a supermassive earthquake became the reason for this dramatic change. The scientists said, it could happen again. It's going to be a big problem for millions of people. It depends on this river. The Ganges begins in small streams in the Himalayas and flows over a distance of more than 2,525 kilometers. On my journey, it meets other great rivers before all the water flows into Bengal Bay. The Ganges has the world's largest delta of all the rivers. Like many other rivers in the area, it's slowly changing its course over time. These changes, if it happens when a river coyotes its banks, it usually takes a long time, sometimes for 10 years. And scientists have discovered that river cargo system, Brahmaputra, has changed many times in the last 6,000 years. When they looked at satellite images of the Red River Delta, they noticed something interesting. There's a crescent-shaped depression on the ground. It's about 45 kilometers from where the river is now. This valley is over 6 kilometers wide and stretches for miles. They think that it could be an old main channel of the river, a long time ago. In 2018, the team decided to visit the area, to test and sample yourself to learn more about it. While driving home, they noticed a hole where the AA is digging up soil to create a pond. The next day they planned to fill it with water. But the researchers, I found something strange in the ground. There are vertical, bright sands mixed into the darker mud. These particular layers are clues from the past. They show an ancient earthquake made sand and water sprayed from the underground and create sand volcanoes that get trapped over time. Scientists have studied sand and mud and discovered that these earthquakes happened a long time ago, about 2,500 years ago, and it's very strong at 78 degrees. It is more than 177 kilometers from the main river, but it's strong enough to push the river away. It's probably affected about 140 million people. The Ganges River system, Brahmaputra, is located near the points that the tectonic plates of the earth meet. So earthquakes often happen here. There is no danger now, but scientists say that another big earthquake, it can happen in a few hundred or a few thousand years from now. It can threaten as many as 170 million people. That's about half the population of the United States. No one can predict correctly when an earthquake will happen or how strong it will be. It's about understanding earthquakes in the past, moving the rivers, to help scientists find patterns and make predictions about similar events in the future. This knowledge can help us to be better prepared and safety planning before another big earthquake happens. The river is not the only river at risk. Yellow River, Irrawaddy River, and rivers in the United States like the Kramas and Sanhoahim, they all face the same dangers. The mighty Mississippi River has also changed course many times in the last 7,000 years. Now there's a huge system of dams and barriers. It's called the Control Structure in central Louisiana. The job of this project is to stop the Mississippi River overflowed and merged into a nearby river. But scientists say that in theory, these barriers won't handle the big ones. So, the Mississippi River can exit and change the flow one more time. This will cause major problems, especially in southern Louisiana. One of the recent examples when a river changes course. The cause of the disaster is the Kosi River in India. August 2008, in just a few days, the course of the river has changed by about 96 kilometers. This is a huge change. Flooding occurs in some parts of the state quite often, but they hadn't seen such massive flooding in over 55 years. They affect about 1,000 villages and 3 million people. And about 1 million people had to be evacuated to safety because many of them, I didn't have to face the people flooding for a long time, so they're not willing to deal with it quickly. It causes more damage to the house and their lives. Scientists have tried for many years, 10 years, to find out exactly what make the rivers suddenly change their flow. Now, a new study shows that two things work together to make a river do it. This process is called breaking down. First, there is the setting. It's like building up tension before something big happens. Over time, sediment, sand, and other things carried by the river. In certain places, it's raising the river's water level higher than the surrounding land, or make a nearby slope steeper than the current course of the river. Then there are the triggers. It's like a glass of water that makes everything happen. This trigger could be a big flood, an earthquake, or even a pile of wood touching water. The researchers watched. We've looked at satellite imagery of about 170 landslides over 55 years ago. They find that these events happen most often near the mouth of the river and near the mountains. Rivers have the ability to change course about 3 times higher in these places versus the areas between them. They also studied 58 rivers in detail. Use super clear maps to measure the elevation. That's the height of the river compared to the land around it. They also measure the slope. It's the slope of a new road. It's comparable to the current course of the river. They found out that near the mountain, rivers often accumulate too much sediment, so that they get too high and spill out. But near the mouth of the river, as in the delta, rivers need a steep slope to break up the mud and form a new path. These two factors work together like a seesaw. If a stronger factor, the key element, doesn't have to be as strong for destruction to occur. Find out where a river can flow. If it changes the flow, the researchers have created a computer algorithm. Smart. This tool uses a map to measure the slope of the terrain and the river's flow to predict where the river might move. They've tested it on 10 previous breaks, and it's guessed the right way every time. The scientists hope they can use these findings to protect people who live near the river from flooding suddenly. Bone flow changes closed flow. He played a major role in creating one of these systems. The administration is the first in the world. Scientists have found a clue to this in the territory of ancient Mesopotamia. The name means land between two rivers. It's between the Tigris and the Euphrates. People live there, rely on these rivers for water, food, and transportation. The scientists wanted to find out what the changes were in the rivers. How did this affect the ancient people? To do this, they used 2 types of maps. The archaeological maps show the ancient cities, how it grows over time. It includes the kinds of buildings that people build. Certain buildings, like a big palace or a city wall. It can show the time every city. For the first time, there was an organized government. The maps show where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers experienced a long time ago. They usually move, sometimes slow and sometimes very fast and strong. About 5,000 years ago, Mesopotamia began to get drier, and farming becomes more difficult. Farmers have to farm near rivers, where they can use natural flooding to irrigate the fields, or digging small canals to get river water into the crops. Because farming is so important, so towns and cities, it also grows near rivers, so that people can be close to their food sources. But when a river suddenly changes course, people don't give up. They're digging long canals together to get water from the new river path back to their fields, channels to help them get water back, and administrative buildings. It shows that they are organizing as a community to solve big problems together.